Thanks for joining. And I'm Vidhunnan, and I'm a product designer in Big Basket, and I work with a couple of other startups like Rocketium and Tidy. And also, I'm a mentor with ADP List, and recently I started part time with 10K designers also. And also, I'm a soon-to-be podcaster. Yeah, that will happen in some time, but I want to release it. It's been a year since I recorded that episode, but we will release it pretty soon. And yeah, so that's it about me. And also, I spent almost 7 years in Coimbatore, so I kind of like spent my college and worked a little bit there. And today's session is about like what is the art of prototyping and what is prototyping, right? Or also like what prototype means to everyone. So let's start with something, right? So let's say that you have an idea, right? And you want to make it real. So it can be any idea, right? It can be product, or it can be like a digital product, it can be a physical product, or it can be like something that you want to build, but you want to take it to the market. So it can be any kind of ideas, right? So consider this is the flow that you will look like. Like you have an idea, then it will become a real product. So, but will it happen always like this? No. So everywhere, like if you go step, like there'll be some kind of failure will happen, right? Or the product, like idea will get failed. So, but you will try it again. Okay, I'll make it again. I'll take a different path. I'll make it again. But you will think like that. Okay, it will happen, but it will happen, or it might not be happen also. So there can be some kind of obstacle or some kind of like challenges that you face. Okay, I can't do this in this way. Then you will kind of like finally release it, right? So but there are like different steps, like how we can make this better, right? Is there a better way that how I can, let's say for example, moving from like, instead of like every time I'm kind of like going and having a failed stage, or kind of like going at the last and having a failed stage, how I can make this better, right? So that's where prototyping comes in. So what is the way that how can make this better, right? So it's about like creating prototypes and getting feedbacks at every intervals of stage. So when I said feedbacks, it can be any kind of feedbacks. For example, okay, will this product work or not? Is the right market audience or not? Or it will users will like it or not? Or talking to different set of like groups people, whether they will understand the product or not. It can be any kind of feedbacks, but to help that feedbacks driven, right? Or to get the feedbacks, we need some kind of like a prop. That prop is called prototype. So, or the prototype can be anyway. Like if it is a physical product, it can be have like physical set of like mock-ups or a physical structure towards it. Or it can made from different materials, or it can made from different types of like how people are liking it, or it can have different structure to it. If it is a digital project, it can have like prototypes. We can make it in different set of like, it can be coded, it can be made in design software, or it can just have small MVP products around it. So that's what prototype comes in play. So what prototype does in the first place. So why we need prototypes, or what is the purpose of having a prototype before releasing a product, or what is the purpose of having a small like a workable like a like action workable like an app, or like a small like structure, small like a product demo, like what why we have to show it. So one is like primarily to communicate ideas. So when I say communicate ideas, primarily okay, what we are trying to solve, what is the problem statement that we are to solve, and what is the solution that we are bringing in. So that is where like communication of ideas comes in place. So let's say that you want to build a like app for like tech, or like if you want to build an app for like schools, right? So what kind of like how the interface will look like, what kind of like a features that you want to give. So those are things like if it is better if you communicate through a like a clickable through prototype, or small like MVP kind of products, like how we can do that. What like communicate ideas means. And when we communicate ideas, or when we are trying to do prototype, right, you will get like new solutions, because you will explore, okay, this is things can be done in this stage, so I can include set of like other set of features or other set of modules in this particular path of the flow, right? So you'll get new kind of ideas. And third is like validation basically, okay, I can talk to users, or I can talk to second stakeholders, so I can get validation in terms of whether we are going the right path, whether it will solve the end problem or not, whether user will like this product or not. So you kind of get the validation around it. And fourth is to demonstrate what you're building. It also is to share to public, okay, this is what we're building, whether like everyone like it, whether like people will get come and buy your product or not. So you can get like demonstration out of it, and you can get like more feedbacks around it. So that's what primary understanding, or what we can do with prototyping. And let's quickly go with what are types of prototype exist, right? So we have like high-fi or low-fi prototypes. So high fidelity and low fidelity prototypes. So it can have, so there are like two differentiation how we can separate. So low fidelity is basically where you don't have much of functionality, or you don't have much of like a visual design, or you don't have much of like just the UX flows can be there. Click on this, you can end it up like this. For example, let's take an example of checkout flow. I want to add these items to a cart and I want to check out. So how can I do it? High fidelity is making having the all the type of content, putting like entire content design or information architecture into the product, and saying that okay, this is what high fidelity product. You will see all this information before you check out particular product. That is called like high fidelity products. And other example, other kind of prototypes, what we call is we are experience or functional. So experience is basically, let's say that I want to build how people are going to experience this product when they buy it. So that was like experience product. Let's say that you the same checkout flow. Okay, I want to see like animations in this particular. When I add a clicker, add to cart icon, I want to have animation. And function is basically click a cart, it will get updated. Like the number will change, the stepper will come. So those are the functional product. In experience, it will have like more interactive around it. So that is called like experience prototypes. And what are different methods, right? So methods are primarily like what kind of like a medium that we are going to use to explain our prototype, or to kind of like show it to users, okay, this is what you are building. So let's start with paper prototypes. Paper prototype, basically you'll start sketching on the paper and you'll say, okay, if you click here, this screen will come next. So it's more of a kind of like moderated method where you'll go with paper prototypes. Okay, if you go here, this is the next stage. If you click on this particular item, then this will be the next screen. So that is called paper prototype. And click-through prototypes is basically when you click that's the digital prototype. So when you click on particular item, what will happen? That's where design tools comes in play. And we have something called motion and experience prototype. It's basically like, okay, all the videos, or you can make videos out of like particular screen. Okay, this is what the product is. This is what the product that you are going to sell this product, right? So how we are going to give the product and how the product might experience in the end time. That's what's like motion and experience prototype. And MEPs. MEPs is basically like minimum viable products, where we'll sell through prototypes, right? Or we will explain through prototypes. Okay, this is the product that we are building. This is the first flow that the product will look like, or first flow of the MEP will look like. So that is what like MEP product. And the last is demonstration. Demonstration is having a physical product and showing, okay, this is the product will look like, this is the product will feel like, this is the type of materials that what we are going to use, this is the type of like colors that we are going to use. This is what demonstrate a product means. And tools for prototypes. So tools is basically like what kind of tools that we have. We have like in design tools, we have two separate categories. One is called basic prototyping tools, and one is called advanced prototyping tools. Another set of categories like no code and coding kind of tools. So we have like a lot of no code tools, let's say Framer, Webflow, or there's a tool called Bravo Studio, and there's Glide. So all the no code tools, how we are going to build a prototype around it. And coding is basically, okay, there will be an engineer involved, there will be a developer involved. They will kind of like get the designs from us, and they will kind of like try to like adapt the entire prototype, or like they will try to build the entire prototype with a very functional kind of app. That's where the functional prototype comes in play. But no code will be still functional, but it won't have the entire functionality what a like end product might look like. And design tools are basically like, it's not like no code, it's doesn't involve any coding, but design tools are getting evolved where like coding like also comes in play, where you can add like certain logics into it, where also that's kind of like logics also coming into design tools. We'll talk about what are the logics. I'll show you like a little bit demo on Framer, what is like in the demo on Figma, what is happening in Figma's like recent update, how variables and logics are coming into in product. And to give a like understanding of what users or what is everyone using in the terms of prototyping. So for basic prototyping, 91% of people are using Figma. And for advanced prototype, like everyone goes with Prototype. Prototype has a very wide range of features where you can have like a text box where you can interact with two different devices. So that's where like advanced prototyping comes in play. But still Figma is the primary design tool for wherever we go, right? Like Figma is the primary design tool of this. And the last, so the slide is what I'm going to show here, like how the tools has been like evolved these days. So we have like functional and experience, and we have no code and code kind of things. So while we come here, where we have like Figma on the experience part and the no code part, and these are all other types of tools, right? For example, After Effects, one of the tool where you can build the experience, how people will experience a particular product with After Effects. And Prototype, where is one of the most advanced tool where you can experience like build the entire experience how the app will look like. And Sketches, like experience wise, it's very no code, but in experience you won't be able to build a lot of things. Figma is much more better than that, but it's still in the different side of it. And we have functional and like a functional and code products, right? So we have Framer and Webflow where you can include like certain logics, or you can use custom code in some places where you'll be able to build products around it. So these are the kind of tools where we have. But recently Figma is moving towards a very functional space where also you'll be able to add logics towards it. So the recent update, what Figma does is they include like variables and logics where you'll be able to even make a small calculator based on like all the logics that what we have. So this is like, I'll show you like what the demo of like here. So let's go to Figma, right? Let me know if you guys have any doubt, or if I'm talking too fast, please interrupt me and let me know. So I'll show you the calculator demo first. So this is like a very basic calculator where at this time it's only able to calculate one digit and a one like function around it, right? So I'm going to clear it first. Let's say, for example, if I want to multiply And see, I'll be able to do it. Where this has only one screen. So if I zoom out, I don't have any other screens here. So there's only one screen. I'll be able to do certain interactions like this. So I'll be able to say, right,
Uh,
I'll be able to do so.
Within,
Yeah,
yeah, so if we could ask people like if they have already used Figma or things,
yes, yeah,
it would be helpful. Like,
yeah.
um,
Anyone used Figma here? You can just raise your hands. Okay. Some anyone else? So yeah, a couple of people who used Figma. So uh, Figma is a design tool where it also supports a lot of let's say interaction elements, right? Like I'll show you like small what is like when I say interactive elements. So I can build, I'll be able to build a prototype like this. So there is like all of connections what we have, like from one screen to next screen, what the connections should look like. If I click on like a particular like a element, how the connections are built. So all the connections can be built within Figma. And this is called what we call the like click-through prototypes or like a little bit of like a motion prototype also because Figma supports a little bit of animations where you can add it. So hope that kind of clear like what Figma can do. So just to communicate ideas, you can able to build a calculator like this. I'll show you like how this calculator has been built because when I said like logics, right? So everywhere there is a small logic here. So so if I open it and go to my prototype mode, so there is a two different modes here. One is called design mode and one is called prototype mode. So when I go to prototype mode, see there is an option called click. When I open click, so see there are like different types of like logics I have been used here. So one logic is like, okay, when I click on this particular 7, then the total show variable should be show like what is the number is like I'm clicking. So then also like if I have like a variables here, one is for like storing the data, right? Like what is the first variable I'm clicking, what is the second variable I'm clicking. So if I click on like first variable, if it is equal to 0, then the first variable will save to here. If it is not equal to 0, then the second variable will get saved to the number. So based on that, it's been kind of like created. Then what happened here, like let's say there is a, I'm clicking any of the action things, then the action will store into another variable called action. Then what happens is if I click on the equal button, the button, right? So there are like other set of actions has been performed here. So here, if action is equal to action, then it will show total plus v1 plus v2. If it is action equal to minus, then the total will be v2 v1 minus v2. So based on that, the action will get performed. Then the total will be shown on the top. So show total is basically what the total has been shown, and total is what the total has been saved in the backend or like in the variable part. So that's how Figma is becoming very intuitive to building like very logical types of flows. Then I'll show you like a little bit on what is possible, like to how to create certain prototypes and what are kind of prototypes are possible within Figma. So to just show it, I'll start with a small demo here. So when I open it, it's automatically moving, right? So these kind of animations or these kind of effects, you'll be able to give it on Figma. So here, if I click on next, it will move to the next screen. If I click on next here, then see here it's a different animation, right? So I'll be able to build different set of animations here. If I click on start or if I click on skip, then it will go to a login screen. If I click on login, then it'll land into app. So this entire part you'll be able to build within Figma. So what will help to build in Figma, right? So this gives a clear understanding of what is the app will look like before developing. So I'll be able to click through certain elements. I know, okay, this is the course page, this is the profiles page, this is the settings page. So I'll be able to see, okay, this is how I will see like particular design elements coming into app. So then if I click on like any search, how the search will function. If I click on any course, how the course will be there. If I click on add to cart, what will happen? Then if I open up any course, how the interaction will look like. If I click on like let's say opening a HTML like play, right, how it will look like. If I click on test, what kind of like elements might come in place. And also if I click on that, let's say I want to do this test, I can do this test like this. If I click on continue, what kind of interactions I can use here. So all these things will be possible in Figma. So just to show like what are the other kind of like prototypes also possible, I'll open a small another tab here. So I'll quickly show what is other set of things also possible. So here, if I click here, I think it's not been built. So to move to the prototype, you can click on the prototype window. See, right, that interaction is not built here. So I'll tell you how to build the interaction also. Let's say this is your app splash screen. Right? So you won't have like a splash screen of any interaction. So it automatically will be moved to the next set of screens. So once you click on it, you will see like there is an option called like this is the prototype or the control. This is the prototype controlling window. So here you'll see like a list of options. One is called click, on drag. So all these are interactions what we use in our mobile devices or web devices. So drag is basically, okay, if I drag something, what will happen? If I while hovering is basically, okay, if I move the mouse pointer on the top of an element, what will happen? While pressing is like when I'm exactly clicking that interaction or when I'm tapping that interaction, what will happen? Then we have the key or a gamepad. So when I want to give a small interaction to a key, or when I want to use arrows or something, what will happen? Then mouse leaves, mouse enters, mouse leaves, mouse down. Then we have delay. After delay is basically, okay, I don't want to give any actions to it, but within certain amount of time, I want a perform to perform an action. So once you click on like after delay, then also we have like certain set of options. So here you can use like overlays for pop-ups. So or bottom sheets, right? Like there will be a lot of bottom sheets that you will use, or like there will be a lot of pop-ups that what we'll use in a product. So how can we use all these things? Comes as an overlay. Then we have scroll to. So scroll to is basically, okay, I have to scroll to through a particular section. I can use scroll to. Open link is basically I want to open a link to a different page. Let's say, for example, there's a learn more button. If you click on it, it'll open up a new web page. So how can I open? Or it can be even a prototype window which linked to a different prototype. Then set variable is basically certain variable and conditional is basically the new updates in the logical prototype. So I'm going to click on navigate to. Then intro one is the next page. Then I use smart animate. Smart, that is like different set of how the animations might happen. So there's an option called instant. Then there is dissolve, then there is smart animate, then we have like other set of animations. So move in is basically, these are like small animations which we can use within Figma to give a different, like how we can mimic a real act experience inside prototype itself. So I'm going to just use smart animate now. Then instead of smart animate, I'll use like maybe like slide in, then I'll use like different types of slide in. So I can use like slide in from a right side or left side or from a top or from bottom. I can use different set of slides. So I'm just going to use like from left. Then I'm going to click on shift plus space. So it'll open up a preview window. See what happened here? Immediately, once I landed it, within that 800 microseconds, it's been a different screen. So let's say if I want to stay for here long, let's say, for example, I want to stay here for 2 seconds, right? So I can give us like 2000 microseconds. So if I click on refresh or restart prototype, so it will take 2 seconds to move from one screen to the other screen. So here I have built a screen in a way where I will be able to drag everything. So you see here, right? Like every single interaction is a drag. So if I drag this element, it will move. If I drag back, it will move back again. So every single element is moved in a way where it has been, like if you perform a drag action, it will perform like this. If I press on drag, and there will be small note, like this button is like exist everywhere, but it doesn't move because that button is a common place and it has been, since it's a button name in every single frame, it won't get affected on that. Only the text will change in the last screen. So these are like some of the examples of what Figma can do. And I'm going to go like a little deeper in how to build like certain flows here. Let me guys know like if you have any doubts or if you want to go little bit different and what you guys want to learn also. So I'll show like a little bit of like what is like some of the advanced features here, right? So I'll remove this. So if I click that, if there is no interaction, then you'll see something called plus icon here. So if you click on it, you can see like different set of interactions here. So on this on click, there's an option called back. So back is basically, if let's say this interaction has so many entry points, right? So let's say this particular page, I'm going to place this page here for now. And I'm going to give like multiple interactions to this page. Let's say you have landed here. You click on it's a search function. Search is missing here. Yeah, search is here, right? So let's say that you are coming to this page via search interaction. And also let's say that you are coming to this page. Once you logged in, also let's say that you are kind of like logging. Once you're like sign up, clicking on sign up, you are ended up logging into this page. But how does Figma know that I have to go to this particular page since I landed on this particular flow? Or how does it will go to sign up page, or it will go to logout page if it landed on here, right? So let's say that I'm open the prototype here. I'm clicking on search, like clicking on search icon. If I click on back, it will go to search page. In the same way, if I click on sign up and if I click on back, it will go to sign up. But I have only given only one interaction. I didn't give any to a direct point in this page, right? So that is called back. So you can do certain things where you can directly go back to a certain point, or where the entry point comes, you can automatically redirect to this particular entry point also. So that kind of like interactions are possible. And I'm going to quickly make a small design here. So let's say that there's like a lot of pages here, like lot of like a listing items here. So I'm going to uncheck clip content so that we'll be able to see this content. Now I won't make these things like sticky in the prototype, but I want this entire part to be scrollable. So how can I do this? So what I'm going to do first here, I'm going to click on overflow. Sorry, I'm going to I'm going to click on fixed. I'm going to click on stick on the top. This one I'm going to click on fixed at the top. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to click this particular page. I'm going to click overflow as vertical scrolling, right? So now see what happens. Okay, so there is a small design flaws here. So I'm going to give a small white background to this. Then let's see what happens. See, if I'm scrolling up, see what happens. That oops, I don't think the white background applied there. Or I think if I'm right, this is out. This is on the top. Yes, this is on the top. And since this is so I'm gonna click here. This one also I will change to maybe fixed. Now see what happens. Since the top doesn't have a background, so I'll be able to scroll elements like this. So I can build scroll features also inside Figma, inside the prototype itself. Let's say that you have built a flow where you need like vertical scrolling, right? So you'll be able to do certain elements. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create this particular thing into a vertical scrolling. Then I'm going to open this and I'm going to add cards to it. Now, I'll select the frame. Then I will give us vertical scrolling, right? Now, if I scroll here, I'll be able to scroll. Oops. I think there's like too many scrollings are involved. So I have to make sure I have to give a scrollable like space also. So how much space I have to have for scrollable space? I have to define this constraints also. So now if I try to scroll. Okay, this is working. So this is not working because it might. Interestingly, it's not okay. Oh, not scroll with parent. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah. So right, so it also because it's on a scroll view, it works on like both the directions. So you will be able to build interactions like this. And also I'll talk about a little bit of like what are the different set of animations we have, right? So here we have using slide in. Let's say that if you are used to use let's say move in, right? So what will happen is like if you click on it, the page will move to this particular page. So and also I didn't give any interactions here. See what happened here, if I'm clicking on this particular like interaction, if I click on it, the same interaction has been reversed. So these are kind of update like Figma can offer like in the terms of like how prototype help you to kind of like communicate your ideas also. And I'll move to, let's say, for example, instant. So instant is basically it won't have any interactions. So it'll just like replace the screen. Then we have dissolve. Dissolve is basically when you click on it, it will just give us very small animation here. And also we have a little bit of different animations here. So let's say that you want to give like a very easy in easy out view. So you'll be able to do it. So see, there's a small, like very small subtle difference will happen. But if you increase the time, you'll be able to see how much difference is happening. So I gave like almost close to 10 seconds. So that's why taking a lot of time to kind of like make the animation to come here. I'll give just 400 seconds. Then also, let's say, for example, I have like bounce. See what will happen now. Oh, still, it's not refreshed fully. So I'll close it. I'll open it again. See, there's a small like bounce happen, right? So those kind of things will happen. So bounce is basically, let's say that I have a small element on this, making it like this. Then I'm creating a duplicate of this. Then I pushing it down. So from here, I'm creating a animation which says navigate. So to happen this, the both has to be rectangle. The name should be same. So I'm moving it here. I'm saying like navigate to. Then instead of dissolve, I'll use smart animate. See what happens now on click, right? So these kind of like interactions are possible. So if I click again, if I say like, okay, click back there. So you'll be able to create like animations like this, or you'll be able to create like different prototypes like this. And this is what smart animate. Smart animate works like if the both the layers names are same, then it will animate it like that. So if I have like one more layer name which says rectangle 2, and if I copy it and I'll place it here, this big, if I, let's say if this rectangle name is like rectangle 3, right? And we have it on the top. I'm going to change the colors also so that like we will see like what is the difference here. I have to use the same color here, then only this animations will look as the same. So this is the rectangle 3. See what happens if I, let's say that I'm moving from the screen to the screen. See, it doesn't work, right? See, now it works, but it didn't work like this because there's few things has been changed here. So it's not working. So if we can go back and say, okay, what is the things has been changed from here? See, this says resolve. So if I can go to smart animate, instead of bounce, let's say I'll put ease in, ease out. And this also instead of bounce, I'll put ease in, ease out. This moves, but see, this is getting dissolved, which means like the name layers which is have been named the same way, it is getting dissolved. Like other things, it's not getting into properly, like it's not like getting animated. So how we can solve this is like keeping the same names across everywhere. So I'll give like rectangle 2 here also, see what happens now. Now it moves like exactly how like both the elements are interacting, right? So these are kind of like features that we can use to communicate ideas how the element will move from certain like place to another place. And the drag is like one more, let's say you want to have a checkout page where you want to give a slider to, like, let's say checking out particular place. So let's say that I have a slider like this. I'll create one more page, one more. Now I have to slide click this. So I can go to prototype, I can click this element and use animation called drag. So I'm going to disable the other things. So yeah. So this one also I'll disable it. Yeah. So this is when drag. So what is drag basically does is it moves on this element to here while on drag. So what I'm doing is I'm actually clicking and dragging it here. So I'll be able to do animation where I can able to enable drags also. So these are the kinds of like what like how we can communicate certain ideas, how we can use prototyping to create an entire flow experience. For example, let's say, right, like I actually this entire thing has been already like connected. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start from here. So click on, I will click on skip, I'll click on sign up, then I'll click on login. Uh, Before I'll actually log in. See, I landed into a home page where I'll be able to navigate between different set of like profiles or like what are the other set of like pages I have. Then if I want to have like, let's say I want to go to courses where what kind of courses I have, or if I want to go to settings, or if I want to get in settings, I want to see like what other things I have. If I have like any saved courses, saved payment, I don't have it. So I can go to the entire app with like by building this, and I can give an experience or I can tell the story of what is going to happen here. So since like I have broken certain flows, it's not functioning properly. So I can again build it. Let's say that I want to build it here. Then I can click here. Then I can click on add to cart. Then I'll be able to do certain animations like this. I'll stop for a minute. I'll get like